Hi, good morning. This is Jamli Enoch. To this video, let's talk about tourism. Did you know that there are different types of tourism? Actually, there are 8 types of tourism, and these are historical tourism, cultural tourism, religious tourism, adventure tourism, environmental tourism or ecotourism, culinary tourism, medical tourism, and recreational tourism. So first, let us know what is historical tourism. So historical tourism, this kind of tourism is characterized by guided tours of monuments, visit to churches, temples, and museums, and light sound shows that are important historical events. Furthermore, historical or heritage tourism means traveling with the primary purpose of exploring the history and heritage of a place. An example of which, visiting a certain destination for you to know or discover the history or events in that certain place. So that's what we call historical tourism. The second one is cultural tourism. Cultural tourism, this is also characterized by guided tours that include tasting the local cuisine and the viewing of, participating in folk dance performances, and demonstrations and purchase of local arts and crafts, as well as an observance of local religious rites and ceremonies. And cultural tourism is the act of travelers visiting particular destinations in order to experience and learn about a particular culture. An example of which is traveling to a certain place for you to see and experience their culture, tasting their foods, and etc. that includes their culture. That is cultural tourism. The third one is religious tourism. Religious tourism, this is a travel for spiritual renewal, to experience and observe the religious practices of a locality. Example of these kinds of trips include the Hajj to Mecca for Muslims, pilgrimages to Jerusalem or the Vatican for Christians, and traveling to Bodh Gaya for Buddhists. Most religious tourists are very motivated to travel, so they are willing to spend more money than average traveler just to seek spirituality and to experience other religious practices. That's what we call religious tourism. The fourth one is adventure tourism. Adventure tourism is a travel for the purpose of challenging oneself in specialized skills acquired. Adventure tourism is about connecting with a new culture and a new landscape and being physically active at the same time. It is not about being risky or pushing your boundaries. In fact, it is especially important to know and respect your limits while you are in an unfamiliar area. That is adventure tourism. Next is environmental tourism or ecotourism. This is a travel for the purpose of observing and living with exotic peoples or native tribes, to view the flora and fauna of the locality, interact with indigenous people, and admire the natural and environmental attractions. The concept of environmental tourism is that people will become more engaged with the ecological and sociocultural concerns of the world through first-hand experience and thus be more active in conservation and making change. So that is environmental tourism or ecotourism. Next is culinary tourism. Culinary tourism, this can be broadly defined as an eating and drinking holiday along with the study of food production and processing and participation in food and beverage activities in a relaxed environment. Culinary tourism includes the active pursuit of unique and memorable eating and drinking experiences, as well as agritourism experiences that connect what is being grown and produced in an area to what is being prepared and enjoyed by locals. Example of which is the kind of tourism where you visit a certain place to experience their cuisines, to taste their food and their beverages, So that is culinary tourism. Next is medical tourism. Medical tourism, this can be broadly defined as health holiday along with a provision for a cost-effective private medical care in collaboration with the tourism industry for patients needing surgical and or other forms of specialized treatment. Health tourism is a wider term for travel that focuses on medical treatments and the use of healthcare services. An example of which is to travel to seek for treatment and healing. Example of such procedures include stem cell transplants and gender reassignment operations. That is medical tourism. Next is recreational tourism. Recreational tourism, this is typified by participation in live sports, indoor or otherwise, and social contacts in a relaxed environment. The main aims of recreational tourism include active participation in some kind of recreational activity, or participating in sport or cultural event as a spectator. Example of which is traveling for an activity like you are participating or competing in the sports which held in other sides of the world. That is recreational tourism. Those are different types of tourism. And that's all for today's video. Hope you enjoy. Thank you and see you to our next episode. Bye.